If you spend time in tech communities, you'll often notice a recurring debate: Linux users criticizing Windows, and more specifically, Windows 11. To outsiders, it may look like simple fanboy rivalry, but the reasons behind this frustration go much deeper than just preference. For many Linux users, Windows 11 represents a direction in computing that conflicts with the values they believe computers should follow: control, transparency, privacy, and efficiency. One of the biggest complaints Linux users have about Windows 11 is control. Linux is built around the idea that the user is in charge of the system. You can change almost anything from the desktop environment to the way the system handles files, processes, and updates. Windows 11, on the other hand, often feels restrictive. Microsoft makes many decisions for the user, such as forced updates, system requirements, and built-in services that can't easily be removed. For someone used to Linux, where you can modify nearly every aspect of the operating system, this can feel frustrating and limiting. Another major concern is privacy. Linux distributions are generally open source, which means anyone can inspect the code to see what the system is doing. Transparency builds trust. Windows 11, however, includes various telemetry features that collect system data and usage information. While Microsoft says this data is used to improve the user experience, Linux users often see it as unnecessary tracking. Since the code behind Windows is proprietary, users can't fully verify what the system is collecting or how it is being used. For people who strongly value digital privacy, that lack of transparency becomes a serious concern. Then there's the issue of system requirements. Windows 11 introduced stricter hardware requirements, including the need for TPM 2.0 and relatively modern processors. Many perfectly functional computers suddenly became unsupported, even though they could still run the operating system technically. Linux users see this as wasteful, because Linux distributions are famous for running efficiently on older hardware. Instead of forcing people to upgrade their machines, Linux often gives them a way to extend the life of their devices. From their perspective, Windows 11 contributes to unnecessary electronic waste and forces consumers into constant hardware upgrades. Performance and efficiency are also part of the debate. Linux systems are often praised for being lightweight and fast, especially compared to modern versions of Windows. Windows 11 includes many background services, visual features, and integrations that some users feel add complexity without real benefit. Linux users tend to prefer systems that do only what the user asks, without extra layers running behind the scenes. Customization is another big difference. Linux users are used to complete freedom when it comes to their desktop environment. They can change window managers, themes, layouts, and system behavior in ways that go far beyond what Windows normally allows. Windows 11 introduced a redesigned interface. But ironically, it also removed some customization options that existed in earlier versions of Windows. To Linux users, this feels like moving backward rather than forward. Finally, there's the philosophy behind the software. Linux represents a community-driven model where developers and users collaborate to improve the system. Windows is controlled by a single corporation with its own business goals. That doesn't automatically make Windows bad, but it does mean decisions are often made with profit, ecosystem lock-in, or market strategy in mind. Linux users tend to prefer systems built around openness and community rather than corporate direction. So when Linux users criticize Windows 11, it's not always about hating Windows itself. It's often about the broader ideas of user freedom, privacy, transparency, and control. Whether someone agrees with them or not, their concerns highlight an important conversation about what people expect from the computers they rely on every day.